It's workout time, y'all. But before we go into the workout, I'm going to share a little bit of a kind of pivot and a coaching mindset tip with you guys because today I originally planned to do a VO2 max style training session and completely pivoting. And this is an important part of training is being able to pivot when necessary based on what your body's communicating, based on schedule and a variety of other factors. Specifically, I'm pivoting today because I can already feel myself like everyone around me has gotten sick. And I have travel coming up in 2 days. We're going to be traveling Christmas Day to New Year's Eve. I say this to say I'm changing my training because VO2 max style training is very taxing on the immune system. I don't want to actually tax my immune system more right now and then even increase the likelihood of me either getting sick or whatever I have being worse. So what we're going to do today is a kind of light version of a training session. So I'm going to be doing arms, which is not as systemically loading and taxing, as well as reducing the overall load so I can still work and keep my routine to some degree, keeping progress, stimulating my muscles, even getting a little hypertrophy-esque versions, but not overdoing it. And that is pretty much going to be the theme, being able to take what could be plan A and being able to intelligently shift to plan B or plan C. If you don't feel confident with that, that's okay. Like literally I've been doing this for 20 years, so I feel quite informed. I also, if I'm being honest, I leverage the coaching systems we have within my own company. I use our AI, I use my coaching team. I lean on those things. I lean on my apps, my programs. And if you want support with that as well, feel free to take advantage of the resources that we have, not only in these sessions, but in the resources I've included with it. With that being said, let's dive on into the workout. I'm going to get started. I'm going to turn on my watch. Again, this is going to be a kind of arm-oriented workout, a lighter load. We're going to work a little bit of mobility, still getting the warm-up in, but it's not going to be as hypertrophy-oriented and still be able to get blood flow, all of that good stuff. First things first, if you guys have ever joined workouts, you know we're going to warm up here. I'm already on the ball, but I'm going to integrate a version of this warm-up. So normally I like to do balancing on the ball. What we're going to do today is still do some jiu-jitsu oriented and some Muay Thai oriented warm-ups, but we're going to take it a little bit differently, okay? Here's a cool trick. First, we're just going to get bouncing. We're going to start to stimulate the lymphatic system, which is great not only from a less than overwhelming tax to our nervous system, getting lymphatic blood flow, especially if I'm sitting all day, but also can be helpful from immune system function. So we're just kind of bouncing. Kind of looks ridiculous if I'm being honest with you, but it's very effective. And again, as we're going through this, if you guys have questions, feel free to drop it in the chat live. You're watching the replay, let me know. I always love hearing what's up. What's going on, y'all? I see you on YouTube. What's up? Thanks for dropping by, saying hey. And again, as always, the first person that comments on all of our platforms, on each one, you can redeem a $50 LOF gift card. I have the details in the description. Take a screenshot of you commenting. Shoot me an email. Hey, what's going on? I see you. And shoot me an email with the screenshot. You can redeem your gift card. I see you, Carly. I see y'all. What's going on? I mean, I'd like to think so, but mentally or physically, what are we talking about? So again, we're doing this for about a minute. The idea is now what I'm going to start to do, first minute in, I'm getting my heart rate up to 100 beats per minute already. Now we're going to start to add a little bit more hip flexion to it, which isn't going to necessarily be as important for an arm workout, but it's going to help with, for me, a functional jiu-jitsu application. So now notice I'm also getting a little bit more hip flexion, getting my knees up to my chest. I'm also rocking base for the camera so you can see it shaking a little bit. Getting that real world application, I got to get like a shock absorbing tripod. But again, getting my heart rate up a little bit more. And from a jiu-jitsu standpoint, the cool thing about this is a helpful open guard warm-up. This can help with our development of our open guard. And again, if you're watching and you want to kind of get the products, whatever I'm using, wherever you're watching and there's a shop, you get the products on the shop. Or if you're watching somewhere else that doesn't have a shop, you can check the link below. It'll have a link to the shop. So now, already got my heart rate up to like 110. I'm going to take out the ball. And now I'm going to throw my shoes on here. We're going to get some shadow boxing. Okay. Again, bringing the heart rate up. Not going too crazy to systemically overload my system, but we do want to add a bit of challenge to prep the system in the body. So I'm going to use my yellow bands here. And for about 2 to 3 minutes, get warmed up. Okay, I'm not going too crazy. I'm not going to even have that much movement, but we're just going to prime up, I guess, because it's a arm workout, getting the arms, the blood flow, all that good stuff. And I'm, again, not only coming down, I think, with a little bit of whatever funk's going around the house. We're going to be traveling. So I don't want to overdo it, especially knowing that probably not going to be sleeping the next 48 hours as much. And tomorrow, I'm holding it down with baby Hope, right, Carrie? Carrie's going to be working. So the point is being able to intelligently pivot our training, and that's really embodying the coach mindset. Okay. The thing I love about coaching is a lot of times I get clients that want to just constantly work. It's my favorite people to work with. We have to teach them how to pull back, how to do less. And that's actually really important. And then what's your most favorite Creed? Let's see. I'm trying to think. What's a good Creed song? No, Creed song. They're like, I think it's like kind of like sarcastic. Or maybe you're being legit. The Creed song, I think I would listen to Creed. But what's that? Falling or something? Why can't I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna have to rock out to Creed to see it. Hello. What's going on, y'all? See you. How about you? What's your favorite Creed song? You tell me. Give me some inspiration here so I can remember. You listen to Creed. Yeah, I get it. Fine. I listen to Creed. Are you talking about the boxing movie Creed with the album? You're talking about the band Creed. I can hear the song in my head, but I just can't name it. But again, the goal right now is we're just warming up. Heart rate's up to 130, 140. Good. Got about 30 more seconds. And again, the goal today is a nice, relatively short in the grand spectrum of things, arm-oriented workout. Okay, because I did a heavier push-pull workout yesterday, and I can feel my immune system kind of taxed from it. So I'm not going to do a hard cardio session or VO2 max training. If I'm feeling up for it, maybe I'll even go to jiu-jitsu tomorrow. We'll see, but I'm not trying to get anybody sick. So we'll play that by ear. Maybe baby Hope will come to jiu-jitsu with me. I'll get a VO2 max in at the gym. We'll see. We shall see. All right, so that's our time. Got the heart rate up to about 140, 150 beats per minute still. Now we're going to go through some dynamic stretching. So even if I'm being mindful of my immune system and my function, I still want to be able to protect my overall body by priming it and getting it prepared to reduce injury. So since we're doing arms, we're going to start at the shoulder capsule and work our way down. So I'm going to just do some shoulder rolls and arm circles. What is a Creed song? It's like, I want to say Free Falling, but that's Tom Petty. What is it? I can hear it. I can hear it in my head. All right, so now we're going to kind of work. And now this is where I love using the bands from Bandage Shoulder Dislocate. And then we're also going to use it for specifically what we can call a zipper test, but it's going to be dynamically oriented for the triceps, because then we're doing biceps and triceps, as well as we'll get forearms and pretty much from the shoulder joint down. How's everybody doing with the holiday shopping and with the holiday season? I literally got some last minute stocking stuffers like 2 days ago, and I just got all my stuff in today. I get to wrap everything. I feel like Amazon and TikTok might even have some products you can get like today and it might make it in time, but you're rolling the dice. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we got some, again, shoulder mobility. What I'm going to do is work through another tricep dynamic stretch, and then we're going to go through a bicep dynamic stretch. So, excuse me. I'm going to take my band, lower it to my back, grab a hold, and I'm going to dynamically stretch by pulling and relaxing. So I'm getting both tricep activation up here and tricep lengthening and extension over here. I'm going to go through that 5 times. I can kind of just switch that. So I'm over. Again, I'm being mindful of my shoulder. You can tell the difference in range of motion. My right rotator cuff has substantially less range of motion. And now we're going to take what could be a static bicep stretch and turn it into a dynamic. So I'm just going to take my thumb. I'm putting it on the door. I'm going to turn away, hold for a second, come back. Do that 5 times. One of the ways I like to do it too, if you don't want to count reps or you don't want to count seconds, just count your breath. Your 3 to 5 breaths can be 15 to 30 seconds. All right, so we're going to get into our first superset. So for the first superset, we're going to be doing a tricep pull down. Again, I'm using my LOF band set with the door anchors to get the whole thing situated. And then I have my secondary anchor right down here because I have multiple sets. Our LOF band system only comes with one anchor. You can just move it back and forth, but because I have multiple bands and sets, I got multiple anchors. So with that being said, I think I'm actually going to do is bust out the handles here. We'll have nice ergonomically designed handles for the tricep pull downs. And then I'm going to pull out the kind of standard handle set you can see right here that comes with our LOF set. This is what I'm going to hook up to the bands for my grip, or for the biceps, I should say. So I'm going to start with bicep curls, and we're going to go to tricep kickbacks. So I'm going to play throughout this stream multiple angles. So you'll see a back angle, side angle, front angle, at least as best we can. And again, we're not going crazy. Like, even as I look through this, I got my 5-minute warm up. We're doing maybe 2 to 3 rounds. So nothing like super serious. Sometimes I like to go 4. He's getting a nice pump. And that is it. That's my mats on a spill here. So again, for this first round, I want to even see you guys the positioning from posture as well. What I'm going to probably do is I'm going to play with this angle. So y'all are going to come with, actually, let's stay right there first. You guys will see this first round will be helpful. Again, I've got my tension tone, having my elbows rest in front of my rib cage here. I'm not pulling them back, keeping them in front of my rib cage. We're going for 10 to 15. If the tension's too much, I'm just going to step in. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, my temptation is to slam those handles down, but Baby Hope is napping right now, and I'm not going to do that to Carrie or myself or Baby Hope. Number one rule as a parent, if you don't know this and you're a soon-to-be parent, is don't wake a sleeping baby. No matter pretty much what. Never wake a sleeping baby. So now we're going again. Triceps. And again, I'm putting my elbows in that same position, locking them in front of my ribs, and getting nice control throughout the full range of motion. Routine. All right, so that's round 1 down. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a minute break. We're gonna hit that 3 more rounds, and then we're gonna superset this with a couple different experts. Follow it up with a couple different. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the camera angle here. Now I actually get to look at this awesome little kind of rack that my mother-in-law made me. Check it, check it, check it. It says Life of a Fighter on it. Super cool. We're gonna actually use this not only for our shoes and our swords, but we're actually going to turn it into a laptop stand right now. So you guys can see, easy Hope Bear. So you guys can see a side angle for the next round. So you all come right on over here. Right on over here. I woke her up.
Well, she was coughing and she was like stirring, but then she heard.
And she's like, Daddy, you said I'm okay. So we got about 15 more seconds, Hope Bear. Then we're going into round number 2. Maybe you'll fall back asleep. Maybe she won't. Who knows, y'all?
That's all right. If she doesn't fall asleep, it's been a half hour.
Yeah, we got it. Okay. So now we're going round 2. Now you can see from another angle. So I'm going to try and position it so you guys can see this. So the goal here is, again, getting the elbows kind of right in front of the rib cage. Okay, depending on how we position this and where the tension, the angle is, we'll hit different components of our biceps or triceps or whatever the exercise, whatever the movement. Depending on how we position the angle of force, will change what part of our muscles are engaging or what muscles are engaging. So again, locked in on front of the rib cage. That's why like an arm blaster is really helpful. But for some reason, I can't find mine. Carrie, have you seen that thing that I wear around my neck and it like helps where I position my elbows? So again, we're going 10 to 15. Again, nice slow control on the way down. Kind of, yeah, there we go. Now I'm right. 2. Hope you watch me work out. Right. Again, we're going like a higher rep range. Could even go 15 to 20. I'm kind of flirting with the line of where the resistance challenges of what we would call RPE, rate of perceived exertion, on a scale of 1 to 10. Like 10 is meaning like you have no more reps left in the tank. You need a spotter. 9 is you have 1 more left in the tank. 8 is 2 more reps left in the tank, but like really technical. For hypertrophy training, usually we want like 8, 7, 8, 9. I might be going, honestly, maybe had like 2, 3, so I might have been at like a 7. So I'm kind of flirting with that line of hypertrophy, but not overdoing it because I don't want to overload my nervous system just from an immune standpoint. So that being said, we're going to lock the elbows in. Okay, you think I'm just talking to myself? You should see my baby staring at me like I'm crazy because I'm talking to no one. And again, we're just controlling it the whole way up. It's tempting if I'm not paying attention to it to just see how fast that is. We want that nice, slow control. And 10 to 15. Liking the lighting, Hope Air? Got all the different lighting going on. Right, Nisha?
Everybody's blowing up your spot.
All right, so that's round 2. Yeah, we're just keeping it pretty simple with 3 rounds today, nothing crazy. But then I'm also, going to be working with some of my accessory tools. I have a 10-pound kettlebell and a 15-pound Thor's hammer. We're going to be working through some different types of arm variations with that as well. So that'll be like a fun area to add into the mix. But again, as I mentioned on other pieces of content, is the goal for the next year for 2026 is to do my workouts with bands 80 to 90% of it. And it's almost exclusively at home to show you guys what's possible and why the bands were picked as our first product to put our logo on and kind of put our stamp of approval because I believe so much in them and they have so much value. Right, Hope Air? All right, we got 10 more seconds going to round number 3. So I'm not actually going to play with another angle. I'm probably going to leave it at, actually, you know what? We will. I lied, y'all. Check this out. Come with me. We'll do one more camera angle here. So you guys can kind of, again, see from a continuous different perspective. I always like to show different camera angles where we can. So we're going to slide. Oh, there he goes. Going down. Don't worry, TikTok. Don't worry, y'all. I got you. I got you, everybody. Don't you worry. So again, we're setting up a different angle, different perspective here. Same movement, but just so you can see it from a different perspective. You can see how I'm positioning, again, arms and the angles of it. So again, elbows are kind of locked in on the front of the ribs. And if the tension's too much, again, I can take a step forward. I'm also trying to position myself for all the cameras here. We're getting closer to that 8 or a 9 RPE. All right, so now we're going one more round. Triceps here. I'll try and again get the right angle for each of the camera positions. Again, I'm tucking in those elbows, keeping it right in front of my rib cage. Now, there's different reasons and ways we position our elbows and our scapula, but for the angle of force, the way it's being generated, I'm going to keep my elbows in front of my rib cage to help maximize. Now, really, technically, what I could also do is turn it this way, and we can hit it from a different angle, get a different perspective for lengthening of the triceps. But for now, we're going to go right here. And I can even hinge forward to help support that angle of force, which is actually what I'm going to do. Because look at where, again, the angle of force is coming from and applied to my elbow to match the tricep. Okay, so I'm going to take a minute of 3 rounds on each. We're going to do one more superset of biceps and triceps with the bands, and then I'm going to go into some accessory work with my kettlebell and Thor's hammer. And because it's actually feeling pretty good, what I'm going to do is play with, again, this angle of force. So I'm going to basically swap. Instead of doing tricep pull downs, I'm going to do a Spartan curl. So again, I'm playing with the angle of force. And then for the triceps, I'm going to do a bent over tricep kickback. So for this, the actual weight I have for each should perfectly work. We're going to see. I might have to adjust it, but based on my prior lifts, I think this is going to be the perfect combo. And then again, we're going to get into some additional accessory work. So again, nothing like that crazy. We're going to do 6 working sets for biceps and triceps. And then maybe like, again, 2 to 4 working sets for our accessory movements with our forearms, things that are complementing that. And with that being said, let me actually slide this over to check my notes here. We got that. Ooh, yeah. So we're going to do a little bit for the cool down. I'll also go through the cool down, which is typically I don't do because of the timing of the workout. But today's the end of the day. I literally only have like 2 more calls after this. And I'm going to be pretty stationary the rest of the day. I'm not walking and having to put baby Hope to sleep, I don't think. We'll see. So I'm actually going to do the cool down kind of finisher lengthening with you guys at the end of this if you want to hang around for that too, which will be kind of fun. And again, might even spend a little bit, depending on how my timing looks. I'll have a call for another 45 minutes. Might even do some like massage, some other types of self-care activities that can be helpful when if you think you might be getting sick or just taxing your system. So that being said, we're going to go into our next working round. Let's see if I can. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to try and find the perfect, not only tension, but angle. So again, this works because the angle of where the tension is coming from. Yeah, I think I might need to take a half step forward. Hopefully this will still line up in the shot. I get to really control on the eccentric because of the bands and the tension. It's wanting to like fly right off my forehead. We're going to leave it at 12. That one's pretty rough already. And now for going tricep kickback. So again, in the bands, hinging forward, pulling my elbows in. We're going to go straight back with those triceps. Let's see if this angle for the camera works. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. 9, 10. Yeah, that's, man, even though I'm going quote unquote lighter on the volume as far as how many sets I'm doing, I'm still like pushing towards that 8 or 9 on the RPE side. So should still be an effective workout. But the reason I also picked, even to want to get a hypertrophy based workout, but not doing huge compound lifts like I did yesterday, push pull. We're doing legs today. Would not be the move. Again, it just is that much more taxing on the system, both from a nervous system, physiological, immune system. Now, the other side to this, the other caveat is acute stress is actually good for our immune system and can help promote, again, stronger, healthier immune system recovery. But if we're already potentially sick or getting sick, it's not the time to add, more necessarily even acute stress in a high load. In a smaller dose, like I went for a walk before, that was nice, doing, again, mobility, strengthening in a light amount. Other types of activation and mobility work, they can be really complementary for immune system function. Again, I'm not a doctor, talk to your doctor, but as a health coach and as a trainer and someone that has 20 years in this, that's my understanding of the knowledge and the body. All right, so again, we're going 10 to 15. Last one I did 12, so we're shooting like 10 to 12 here. Yeah, like I don't know if you can tell, like it's kind of, because at the end and the lever points, it's like spilling me forward. So I really got to like lock in my glutes, engage my core to hold that position, and even a little bit of lean. That's like the first good bit. 8, 9, 10. Let's go 2 more. Bam. 12. Okay. Now let's get our tricep kickbacks, getting that bent over position, getting those elbows in tight, getting our hinge to match the angle of force. See if we can scooch forward just a little bit to get more. Yeah. Okay. 1 more minute, 1 more round. And then we got the accessory work. This is where having the hat to keep the sweat out of my face becomes helpful. Just pro tip for y'all. Also, I wonder who's traveling for the holidays. This is the first time I'm actually going to be flying Christmas Day and flying on New Year's Eve, especially with the whole family. It's going to be a fascinating journey. Curious, who's of my parents or my traveling pros out there, who's had to travel on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve? I want to know potentially what to expect in a regional airport as well as in an international airport. So we'll be flying into both. What could I potentially expect? I mean, I'm because of the time of the flight too, I'm expecting it's not gonna be that crazy. But I wouldn't be surprised if it is, though, to be honest. I don't want to get my hopes up that it's gonna be a smooth, chill traveling day. Fingers crossed. All right, last round. We're gonna get again 10 to 12. Locking in position, hips. Two more. All right. Now we've got 1 more round of our tricep kickbacks. All right. Now we're going to get into some fun with the accessories on our kettlebell and our hammer. So again, we're going to work some like grip and forearm. Man, I got to like scooch all the way. My triceps are already cooked. Well, now one more minute now. Rest. And now this is where, again, we get into the accessory work. I've got my, again, Thor's hammer. We've got our kettlebell. These are going to be some fun accessory pieces. And then we'll finish up with some static stretching and some lengthening. But with this, I'm going to do, you know what? How do I want to do this? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to start with actually the hammer. And then we're going to get into the kettlebell while we're simultaneously doing this. So this will be like a fun combo. And again, this can be done in a variety of ways, but this is just the way I personally prefer and enjoy doing it. We're going to start with palms facing up. Just going to turn to a supinated, pronated grip, alternating 4 reps. It's a great way to, again, work the forearm. So I'm grabbing my grip here. And because it's a asymmetrical weight where it's offset, makes it that much more challenging. So you got 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to position it for the camera. 4, 5, 6. Again, 10 to 15. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now we're getting the opposite side here. Turn this a little bit so you can kind of see this side. And every time we go down and back, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, got 15, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so now we're going to superset this. Okay, so we did little rotational supinated pronated. Yeah, that one's definitely got my heart rate cooking on that one. Now what we're going to do is instead of going supinated pronated, we're going to do a little bit of a kind of radial flex extender, radial ulnar deviation. So just to give you an idea of what we're working through next. So I'm just basically as if we're working a hammer, but hinging out, again, my wrist point, keep my elbow pinned, bringing it up and down, going 10 to 15. 3, 4, I'll see there it is. 5. 8. 9. All right, now do the opposite side. So we can get that right. It's like trying to get the camera here. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see the instability right now. It's real. 9, 10, 11, 12. Whew. So we can take a minute, go through that one more time. Okay, and that's going to be kind of the finisher for the forearms. And then we'll go into just some lengthening. Do threading the needle, which is kind of like a yoga S inspired move. Yeah, we'll go child's pose, Ooh, yeah, I'll actually do the floor angels and then some box breathing to finish it home. All good stuff. And probably add 1 or 2 static holds for biceps, triceps standing before we get into that. We got about 30 seconds and then 1 more superset, y'all. And that's how we're going to kind of finish it up and bring it home. Let's see. How am I looking on time? We're looking pretty good on time. And yeah, for the rest of this week, more than likely not going to be live streaming until office hours on Sunday. I might do pop-up ones, but you're going to have to make sure you're following and subscribing to catch them live or even just catch the replays, just because I'll be traveling in the days ahead. Obviously doing gifts and presents with the kids, prepping, hanging, doing a variety of different things to prep for the holidays and then getting into New York. So just make sure you're following and subscribing, and I'll keep posting and updating as best I can. But we will have our office hours on Sunday. The only thing is we're going to have to play with the time based on where I'm going to be. So we got dinners and we got fun plans. That's the one thing I miss about New York, man, is the Italian food and all the food. All right, so we got 10 to 15. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What's up, Dina? Hey, I see you. Dina, you got another gift card, dude. You're the first person to comment on Facebook. Make sure you're screenshotting and emailing. Take care of that gift card. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, there's 15. So now we got last set on our radial ulnar deviation variation. I give it to from the front angle now. So we're going down, flexing up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. All right, let's get the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So what I actually just realized I was doing the radial, but I didn't do the ulnar. Where can I? So the gift card, that's a great question, Dina. So it's an LOF gift card, meaning for my company. So you can use it on our website for coaching services, for any of our programs. If you want to use it to redeem a book, apply it to bands, apply it to our clothing and apparel, you get it for all of that. Okay. So now the one thing I realized I didn't do is I was doing the radial side, which is like thumb side deviation. We're going to do ulnar deviation. So or a little bit, I should say, of flexion. So all I'm doing is I'm taking that kettlebell and trying to bring the bottom of it to my butt. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. And just to balance it out, we're going to do 2 sets. 14, 15. This one we're going for 20. That's like the north end of where I would go with this. 18, 19, and boom. So let's do the opposite side. We'll rest like 30 seconds, and then we'll do that again. Yeah, of course, you got it, Tina. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Bam, 20. So pretty much just enough time in between where I'm just going to swap sides now. We'll go back to the right side, again, finishing it, and then we're going to go into our lengthening and stretching. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, we're there. 18, 19, 20. Let's get the opposite side. Feeling that. That's a good finisher. One. And we could also technically, I could do the same thing with the hammer as well. I just like using the kettlebell for this one because of the weight. It's like just the right amount of load, and I can control it still. That is it, y'all. So that's going to be the hard part of the work. I'm going to take my weighted vest off. Now we're going to cool it down. Gary, it's time to call Anna. Gary, 5:30. All right, y'all. So now we're going to bring it down to the ground and get set for our stretchies. So I'm going to bring you guys down here. Again, this is where the puzzle mats are clutch. I can just basically have like a mat pop up anywhere, or you can just use yoga mat, all that. But I also like to have these for my jiu-jitsu drilling and all types of fun. I'm going to bring this right on over. Yeah. Here we go. So you guys can kind of see. Slide this back into place. Again, if you guys got questions, feel free to let me know. Here's the combination again of the mats and the ball and clutch. I'll take my shoes off to kick our shoes off, get it nice and relaxing. Bam! Work through our cool down here. See right there, bam. So first thing we're going to do is, even though I said I was going to do it standing, I'm going to do a seated bicep static stretch. So I'm going to take my thumb, put it right into the door frame, and just rotate, getting, again, nice lengthening down my bicep. We're going to hold it for, again, 3 to 5 breaths. It's roughly 15 to 30 seconds. To the opposite side. So and the cool part about utilizing our breath too, especially at the end, is it helps regulate our nervous system, helps us transition from a fight or flight to rest and digest. Two more. So I got the bicep component. Let's get our triceps. So this is where I get to kick in back to the bands. And we're going to use this similar style we did from a dynamic perspective for the zipper stretch. But instead of doing it in a dynamic fashion, I'm literally just going to hold it. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to do the opposite. Instead of trying to extend my arm up, I'm going to get a nice little grip here. And I'm just going to pull on the band to facilitate a nice stretch here. I'll hold for 3 to 5 breaths. Switch. So that's our arm static stretch. Now let's just get a little bit of our forearms, and then we'll go into the rest of the body and the chain. And again, this is something that I was just talking to a client about. And the stretching, the warm up, and the cool down is like the least appealing and sexy part of a workout, but it's probably one of the most influential and underrated aspects that not only primes your body so you don't get injured, but also helps relax it. Why do you care about these things, or why should you care? When you relax your nervous system and you relax your physiological system, you're going to help on a recovery process. You're going to help your body be able to sleep later that night or evening or whenever you're falling asleep. And you're also going to allow your body to be more effective at digesting the nutrients you're eating after your workout to get the most out of it, amongst other even like anxiety provoking feelings that might come along with it. So we're going to, again, 3 deep breaths. So again, extension. Switch those sides. All right, so now we're going to incorporate our ball with the mat. So we got the individual joints kind of mobilized or stretched, I should say. Now we're going to position ourselves with threading of the needle. We don't necessarily need a ball to do this. I just like using the ball because I find it very complementary to what we're about to do. So first, we can just extend. This isn't technically truly threading the needle yet, but the first thing I like to do is just take a couple deep breaths in a child's pose variation. And I'm going to kind of like let my arm get centered and reach my opposite arm underneath. This is where the threading the needle comes into play. We're going to switch those sides. And again, this is something that's amazing, not just from a workout finisher to stretch, but on days you travel, like I'm about to be traveling in the days ahead. When I get to my destination, this is something I'm for sure going to do when I get home, especially after sitting in the plane, sitting in traffic and tri-state area traffic. So we got a little bit of the child's pose plus threading the needle. Now what we're going to do is combine that with a kind of floor angel position where it's really just a fancy thing. What I like to combine this with is putting my feet up on the ball. So I'm taking tension out of my legs here. So from this angle, I'm actually going to change it so you can kind of see. I have my legs up on the ball, right? So now my legs are relaxed, 90 degrees. What I tend to like to do with clients especially is have our arms either out at our side, or if you have the rotator cuff range of motion, which I actually don't right now, being able to go into this like angel position or palms facing up, hands back. So I'm going to just kind of have my arms out at my side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to exhale and twist my legs, turn my head the opposite direction, and just leave it here for 3 breaths. Then I'm going to come back up and go the opposite side, turn my head the opposite way. And come back to center. And now for the last minute or two, we're just going to do, you have a choice of either box breathing, which means we're going to inhale for a period of time, or hold our breath for that same period, exhale for that same period, hold our breath for that same period. So 2 to 4 seconds is usually where we start. I'm actually going to do what we call 4-7-8 breathing. So I'm going to inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And I'm going to repeat that for about a minute. So 3 to 5 cycles. Right. So even just in that 1 minute, I'm noticing a relaxation of my nervous system. My heart rate's under 100. It's at like 80 right now. And the point again of that is not only from a lengthening of our tissue to letting the physical part of our body, the physiology, the Golgi tendon apparatus, and all those things to relax the fascia, relax the muscles, but our nervous system to be able to relax, to transition from a fight or flight stimulated state to a rest and digest recovery state. That's going to help with sleep, help absorbing more food, help even in the recovery mechanisms to managing the workout strain. And especially if we're feeling sick or under the weather, that part is more important than the rest, in my opinion, because I want my body to know that it's safe and that the immune system can function and focus on the recovery side and not just being stimulated in that fight or flight state, which even when we travel can naturally happen. So that being said, that's pretty much going to do it, y'all. I'm going to just get my last swig of hydration. Just thought I heard something in the other room. I'm going to have to go investigate that, but and encourage everybody, have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas. If I don't see you on the next one, Happy New Year's. I'll be back this weekend for our office hours. Just make sure you're subscribed or following to stay tuned for that. And I will see y'all there. And maybe again, we'll have a pop-up session tomorrow and the days ahead as well, but probably not. Deuces, y'all. Uh-oh, Hope Bear's crying. What's going down?